the start recording button. All right, and we are now good to go. So what I'm going to do, I started off our session today by kicking off with a poll, and I asked you what mobile device do you use, and 45% of you said you use Android, 60% said you use iOS, 25% of you said that you use Windows. So right now we're up to, that looks like it's 130%, and 15% said other, so that's 145%. So how can you have 145%? Well, that's because some of you obviously use one or more mobile devices. Now, if you recall, in last week's session, one of the things we talked about was how to incorporate other applications into your Acumatica demos, how to incorporate other applications into the solution that you present to your customers. And what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to take that one step further. All right, I'm going to take that to extending this out to mobile devices. Now, you'll recall that one of the things that we've shown you before with Acumatica is how you can grab a web link, a web URL inside Acumatica, which you can then send out to other people. You can embed in emails. When Penelope did her demo the week before last, we showed you how you could take that URL and embed it in an Excel spreadsheet and use that to keep people on track, use it to map out a process flow inside Acumatica. Well, you can go a heck of a lot further than just doing that. So, how many of you have an Android application that you can use with Acumatica, where you can go onto the Android or the Google Play storefront and download an application and run Acumatica on that application? It's a good chance that most of you are going to answer no, because I went searching and I couldn't find one. So what I want to do is I want to show you something that I've discovered that's going to enable you to go ahead and build your own mobile application that not only will it run on Android, but it'll also run on iOS, it'll run on Windows, and it will also run on the new Amazon Kindle Fire devices as well. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my webcam because you probably had enough of looking at me. I'm going to keep talking, obviously, because that's one thing that I can do. It's talk. It's hard to shut me up, as many of you will know. But I'm going to stop sharing the webcam now, and I'm going to share out my screen, and I'm going to take you through in today's session how you can build your own mobile application. Now, if you're a salesperson and you're thinking, oh, hang on, he's going to start writing code, I'm going to go and do something else. Don't go away. I'm not going to write a single line of code. All right? So that's my promise to you. No code will be harmed in the production of this session. All right? So let's go. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm now sharing my screen, and all things being equal, you can now see my screen. Okay, you're able to see my screen right now? Yes, thank you. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to build our very own mobile application that you're going to be able to use in your demonstrations. One of the situations that we've encountered recently is that a couple of partners have said, well, people want some specific applications. They want an application that allows them to publish up an application onto their device. So I found a tool which I've subscribed to, which is called Como. That's C-O-M-O, just like the lake in Italy, although not quite as expensive as living there. So if you go to www.como.com, what that will do is that will bring you to this particular website. All right, and this website is designed so that you can build your own mobile applications and publish them. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So I'm going to log in and let me make sure that I just got a message from somebody saying they're not sure that they're actually seeing the right screen. So I think I may have had this problem last time. Can't see my browser. All right, yep, this was the same problem we had before. All right, can you see a browser now? Yes, okay, so little glitch there with the latest version of Internet Explorer. Thank you for reminding me that you couldn't see it. So again, let's start that again, www.como.com. That's the URL, and this is the website. Now, what this allows me to do, I've been creating a few apps before, so it's going to allow me to sign in, and I've already signed up before, and I've linked it to my Facebook account. So I'm going to log in with my Facebook account, and you'll see I have already built 2 new applications. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to build one of these applications from scratch. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say I want to create a new application. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give the application a name. So who do we have on today's session? Let's see. We have quite a few people. All right, I can see Cliff Hall from Cortex. So Cliff, if you don't mind, I'm going to pick on you and I'm going to build you an application that you can use for your demonstrations. All right, and this application will run on iOS, it will run on Android, and it will run on the Kindle Fire. Okay, so we're going to call this Cortex Mobile for Acumatica. Okay, and then we're going to say next. Now the next thing it asks us is, what kind of app is this? Is it a app for a business? Is it a music app? Is it a blogging app? What is it? Well, this is a business app, so then I'll say next. Now it's going to give me a couple of choices here. It's going to automatically populate a whole bunch of content in here for you. Now there's 2 different places you can pull that content from. You can pull that content from Facebook, if you have a Facebook page, or you can pull it from your website. So Cliff, just quickly I'm going to unmute you and I'm going to ask you a question. Let's unmute you. All right, Cliff, are you there?
I am here.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you for not objecting to being my guinea pig, or maybe now's an opportunity. Is it okay if I use you as an example?
But of course.
Okay, perfect. So do you have a Facebook page for Cortex?
We do, but what do we want to call it? So go ahead. Balance is here as well.
Okay.
I don't remember what the URL is, though.
Oh, we don't remember what the URL is. It's just so automatic.
That's okay. If you don't have a Facebook page, because many of you won't, you can click here, and if you say no Facebook page, it'll ask you for your URL. If you have no website, then after we take you out and beat you to death with a stick, we basically have to build the app from scratch. All right, so you can do that, which is that's a good thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm actually going to discard these changes that I've made. All right, so let's just go here and I'll say basic, go away, go away, go away. I'm going to go up here and say create new app, and we'll start again from scratch. All right, so Cortex Mobile for Acumatica. And I'll say next. Okay, business app, same as what I did before. And so your URL, did you have your Facebook URL, or we will use the website?
Let's use the website, please.
Okay, so www.cortex.com, correct?
Correct. Yep.
And then I'll say create. So what the app automatically does is it's going out and it's scanning through your website, and it's automatically pulling up content that's linked to your website. So you'll see the two things that it's automatically detected from your website is that you do have a link to some videos, and you do have a link to your Twitter account. So it's automatically added those two pieces of functionality into your mobile app. Okay? So what I can now do is I can go in and I can start adding extra functionality to my app. So in order to do that, I just click on the little plus icon here. And then what do I want to add? Do I want to add coupons? Do I want catalogs, loyalty forms, a call us function, photos, a contact us form, whatever? You can see there's all these other different app functions that I can add into my app, including social media. Now, if you do have Facebook, you can add Facebook here as well. And then you can add your Facebook page. And if you have your Facebook page, you can put it in here. And then you can specify whether or not you want to show your feed from Facebook or your posts. All right, and then you can give the tab a name. Or if you decide, no, I don't want Facebook there, then I will delete that page. Now, that's all well and good, and you're probably sitting there thinking, that's nice, but I don't want to build a social app. So I want to build an app that includes functionality from Acumatica. So let's go ahead and let's do that now. So I'm going to log into my Acumatica system, www.smeclouderp/Acumatica. And again, just a reminder that this website is always up and is always available for you if you want to do your demonstrations. And if you want your own demo data set as well, that you would then find at smeclouderp.com/your partner name, not your partner name, but in your case, Cliff Cortex, then just let me know and I'll set you up with your own demo instance. But this is the standard one, so I'm going to use this, and I'm now going to log in as admin with the password of 123. Again, I make that available so anyone in the world can log on and actually have a little bit of a play around with a live Acumatica system. Now, I just rebooted the server a little bit earlier, and so that's why just this first time I started up, it takes a couple of seconds just to render my content. So what can I do with this? Well, now I'm able to go in and let's say, for example, I want to build a time and expense application for the Android device. So I'll click here, I'll go to time and expense, and let's say I want to add employee time card functionality. So let's go into our employee time card screen. So I select the employee time card, and over here in our main area, in our main screen, you'll see I've got my employee time card. So I want to go to a new screen. And so now I go up here and I say help, and I say get link. Here I have my link, so I grab this, all right, and I'll copy that. And then I'm going to go across into my Como app builder, and I'm going to click here and I'm going to add. I'm then going to say all pages, so I get to see everything, and I'm going to grab down here a web page. And I'm going to give this web page a name, and this is going to be time cards. I think, yes, employee time cards. So employee time cards. And then the URL, I'm just going to paste this here, and pardon me, that's it. All right. So then that's all good. Now I'm going to add another app. And again, same scenario, all pages. Let's go back to Acumatica, and I want to enter in expense claims. So I'll go and select my expense claim functionality. And so here's my expense claim screen. Same scenario, I go Help, choose Get Link, grab that, say Copy, and then go back across here, add another web page, and then I'll put in my URL, just paste that in. See, no code, copy, paste, and this is enter expenses. All right, now, so I've now got those two things there. So what does this look like? As I'm going through, I have the ability to try this functionality exactly as it's going to appear on my mobile device. So this is how it's going to appear on an iPhone, but on an iPad, it's going to look like this. Okay, I've got my videos. All right, I've got my Twitter link, I've got my employee time cards, and I've got my enter expenses. Okay, so I've now got these functions embedded in my app. But I actually don't want the iPad. I want to see what's it going to look like on an Android tablet. Let's have a look. And this is what it's going to look like on an Android tablet. And what's it going to look like in any standard HTML5 device? Again, there it is. Just using a standard HTML5 web browser, this is what the app is going to look like. Now you'll notice there's all these backgrounds and stuff like that, so you can customize all of this. So hopefully you're now putting two and two together and saying, well, hang on. If I've got to go and do a demo for a customer and they've got a website, well, I can go and build a customized application that pulls all of the customers' branding, all of their content and everything from their website. Well, exactly. And you know what? This is what NetSuite are doing. Whenever they go out and they do a demo, they customize this content specifically for that specific customer. All right? Oh, and by the way, you want to see what it looks like on a Kindle Fire? Well, the Kindle Fire is just basically an Android device anyway, but there are some specific things that you can do on the Kindle Fire. All right? But let's just close that down. Let's add one more screen. Let's say the customer says, you know what? I want my employees to have a quick customer lookup where they can look up the customer name and what is their current balance. Well, how do you think I'm going to get that into this application? Well, really, really easy. I go across here into System. I go into Customization. I go and I'm going to create a generic inquiry. All right, so all you have to do is create a generic inquiry that does what you want, and you can publish that data in here. All right, so let's go and create our generic inquiry. So our generic inquiry, we're going to call it Customer Balances. And what tables do I need for my customer balances? Well, first thing I'm going to need is I'm going to need my customer table. Customer, I'll say OK, and there it is. So I need my AR customer table. The next table that I also need is I'm going to need my AR balances. All right, so again, let's do our lookup, and I want to find my balances. Customer balance summary, that's the table I want for this. Okay, and I'll say this is the alias for that is balances. All right, so then the next step is, and this is just generic inquiry functionality, okay? Hopefully I'm not showing you anything here that's making your eyes bug out, but that's okay. I know different people have got different levels of expertise with Acumatica. So what do I want to do? I want to build my table relationships. So I want to say these tables are joined on the basis of the customer table being linked to the balances table. And then I want to add my data field link. Now, before I do that, I need to hit the save button so it saves it. Now, okay, yes, that's good. I've got an error, which is what I expected. So I am going to add a bracket. And I'll get in there, Richard. There we go. And my parent field, so this is the field from the parent table, from the customer table. So I'm going to use my business account ID equals, in my child field, this is from the balances, the customer ID in the balances table. Okay, so that's how I get my relationship. Okay, I can now hit save, and that's fine. What did I do wrong there? Let me do that again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 okay, and save. I think there's something I'm not doing quite right here, and I practiced this last night. Actually, I practiced it at 3 o'clock this morning. So let's just try that again and see what I'm doing wrong. And anybody else that wants to chime in, if you say, Richard, you're on drugs, you're missing a particular field, or you're missing a particular piece of information, just let me know. But I'm going to try that one more time. And my B account ID is equal to my customer ID and, whoops, sorry. Back in there. And that's that. All right, let's keep going. Let's go across to our parameters. Yep, okay, so that's still there, so that's a good thing. Now go across to my parameters. Do I want to limit my parameters? No. How do I want this grouped? How do I want it sorted? Well, let's say I want to sort this on the basis of the customer account name. And then in the results grid, what do I want to see? Well, I want to see from the customer field, I want to see the account ID, oops, sorry, my bad, balance account ID, and I can give this a width. I'm going to say, and I want that to be 100 pixels wide. Again, this is where it helps to know the screen real estate you've got to work with on your device. And I can say, no, well, 100 pixels is fine. I'm going to add another field. I'm going to pull from the customer table again. I'm going to pull the account name, and I'm going to make this 200 pixels. And then I'm going to grab one more field, and this one I'm going to pull from the balances table, and I want to see their balance. All right, and I'm going to make that 100 pixels as well. Okay, so let's now view our inquiry. Whoop, let's stay on this page. Sorry, let's hit the save button. And go back to my relations. All right. Bug. Just let me quickly remove a couple of these so I can now see where it's gone wrong. It was adding a couple of these rows, and it wasn't being filled in properly. So let me just trash a couple of those, and now all things being equal, that's what we expect to have happen. And now let's view our inquiry. Oh, man. This is what happens when you do demos, right? My apologies. You know what? I'm going to, rather than bang around at this, let me just make one change, because I've just realized I used a different table last night when I was practicing this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly remove that table, and I'm going to add the other table. And if I'm not mistaken, it was actually my AR balances table. So let's scroll down here and let's sort those ascending. And let's search in this field for AR. And I'll say OK. AR balances, there we go. Always helps if you pick the right table. Balances, relations, there we go, in the customer. And I'll just reselect my child table, which is balances, my account field there, and my customer ID field there. That's a bit better. And my close bracket. All right, I love it when a plan comes together. Let's go back to our results grid, and I need to just reselect the balance field now. And there you can now see I've got my average days to pay and my current balance. So my apologies for that problem between keyboard and chair. Let's hit save, and now let's view our inquiry. And there it is. There's my generic inquiry screen. Hooray! You all breathe a sigh of relief, including me. So now I want to pop that onto my sitemap, because I can't grab a web link for this unless I put it onto the sitemap. So I'll put it on organization, I'll put it on customer management, and I'll put it in my work area. So let's double click on that. So that's where it's going to go, on the work area, under under my work area, under customer management. All right, and then I'll save that. So now, if I now go across here, organization, customer management, work area, there's my customer balances screen. And so now I can go here and I can say get link, happy days, copy that, go back into my app and add another screen, all pages. This is a web page. Paste in my application URL, and that's it. All right, so now I've actually got 3 functions in my application, customer balances, okay? And of course, don't forget, you can do all that, you know, playing around with the way you build your custom screen or your generic inquiries. All right, so that's good. That's what I want. Now, next thing I might want to do is I might want to apply a different theme to this. Maybe I might want it to look like this. All right, so I've just got my icons on this page, and then I can choose a background. So I can grab this background, or I can grab this background, or I can go and add an image. Right, and it gives me 2 different images, and I just need to make sure that whichever one I pick for a smartphone, right, it's going to be 640 by 960, or for a tablet it's going to be 2048 by 1536. Okay, now I'm not going to go through the process of, well, actually, what the heck, why don't I? So let's go in here, and because we've got plenty of time, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose to upload an image. All right, I don't have a Cortex logo, but what I do have is an Acumatica logo. All right, and you'll see what's it doing is it's trying to grab a part of that particular file. Now, this is where the size of the file becomes important. All right, so maybe what I need to do is I need to resize that logo. Okay, so bear that in mind. I'm going to come back and I'm going to do that in a second. Maybe I might want to grab this image for my tablet background. So I'll pop that in there. I'll say OK to that. Actually, why don't I use the same image for both, just for the sake of the exercise, rather than going through the process of editing. So again, let's just grab our guy, and I'll say OK to that, and I'll say OK to that as well. So now, what do I get? I now have my new background that I'm going to use, and that's that. So then maybe what I want to do is apply a different color theme. Maybe I might want to give the application a new header. Cortex, hey, so this is, again, Cortex Mobile for Acumatica. And I'm going to grab that as well. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to post that in here. Or paste it in there, rather. And then also when the application launches, I can put in a splash screen. And then I can say on my tablet for my iPad, again, which one do I want to use? Just for the sake of the exercise, I'm going to grab the Altara logo here. And the good thing about this is you can go ahead and you can edit your app and reissue it as many times as you want. So I can say OK to that. So I've now got a splash screen, and then for my app icon, I can choose all these different icons, or I can upload an icon myself. So let's just grab the Altara logo again. And again, it's going to ask me, do I want to crop it? But again, you've got to make sure that the image that you're using is the right size. Okay, but of course, if you're familiar with using something like Snagit, you can go ahead and you can use Snagit to grab this. So I'm going to crop that. There it is. I've now got my application icon. So when it appears on my mobile device, that's the icon it's going to have. All right. So that's all done. So what do? Now I'm going to hit save. And my changes are all saved. So that's it. I've defined my style, my navigation. I've got my app pages. And then I can now have a look and see how does this look on each of these different devices. Okay. Oops, looks like some information is missing there. Okay, so that's fine. My customer balances. Okay, so that's all looking fine as well. So I'm happy with all of that. Now, next step is I can say continue. And now this is where this application is going to ask me to hand over some money, because you're probably sitting there thinking, well, how do these guys make any money out of this? Well, for a demo, all you need to do is just choose the basic plan. Because if all you want to do is just create an app and be able to hand it over to the customer and give them the ability to play with it themselves, then just use the basic plan. If you want to build your own app, all right, and use it in perpetuity as a permanent demo, use it as a marketing tool, put a whole bunch of demo videos in there and everything like that. Hopefully, you know, you don't need me to spell out all the possibilities that you have with something like this. You could use the Platinum app, all right, which is what I've paid for with my app. I've got Platinum, which is $99 per month. Or you know what? When you have decided that's everything I want, you can pay a one-time fee of $14.99, $1,499, and then that app, you're good to go. So for $1,499, you've basically built an app, and you can come back in and you can modify that app as many times as you want. They're not going to charge you every additional time, but it's just done. All right, so what you've done is you've built an app for Android, for Windows, for the browser, for Kindle Fire, all those devices all at once for one fee. And you know what it also then does for you as well? If you pick one of these options, It will even submit it to all the different marketplaces. So it will automatically appear on the Apple Store if you've got an Apple developer account. It will automatically appear on the Android Store, on the Google Play Store. It'll automatically appear on the Amazon Store if you have accounts for each of those. By the way, to get a Google developer account so you can post your apps onto the Google Play site, it's $25. So this is not going to break the bank, okay? So you've got that. So we're just going to say right now, well, I'm just going to go basic. So now what's it doing? It's now setting up all the necessary back-end infrastructure. And right now, it's writing all of the code to take this and make it a native application. So there you go. What have I now got? I've now got my native code written for Apple. Now, Apple don't allow you to publish your own code unless you've got it, unless you're a developer. However, what Android allows us to do, and it takes a little bit longer, what Android will do is Android allows you to build an APK file. All right? So with the APK file, for those of you who are using Android, you'll know that all you need to do is distribute that APK file out to people. Just send it to them as an email, and they can open it up on their Android device, okay? And then basically you're done. You're loaded up and you're ready to go. So now you can go ahead and you can now test your app. We'll give this just a couple more seconds. It might take a little bit longer, and then I'll get an email message. Just depends on how long, on how many of these build processes are going on in the background. But in best TV chef mode, here's one I've created earlier. I've got it on my Dropbox. So you can just put it up on Dropbox, for example. And I'll sign into my Dropbox and sign in. And you'll see up here in my app, I created one yesterday last night at 11 p.m. and another one at 10:55. So all I have to do now is go ahead and share this link with my prospect, or whatever. I can even go ahead and do the install for them and send this link out to them, and they're ready to go. All right? So what have we done? Let's go back and let's wrap up. Well, and there you go, it's completed. So I knew if I ad-libbed long enough, it would complete. So there you go. I can click here and I can download my APK file. All right, and I can hit save, and it'll just download it to wherever I've specified. So let's go ahead and do that. So that's now downloading there in the background. It's a 14 meg file. Or I can go in here and I could submit it to the Google Play Store. And when you see, when I choose Submit to Store, it's just going to go here and it's going to ask me to open up my developer account, and it gives you step by step. How do you do that? Go here, one click, choose Sign Up. Next step, upload it to the marketplace. Next step, enter the app's Google Play URL and hit Save, and you're done. Okay? And here's the so you can submit it on your own, or you can just use a one-click submit function here, and it'll post your application up. So, again, what have we done? We've created our app. We've mapped it through to the Acumatica functionality. We've added some social media capabilities, and as you saw, there's a whole bunch of other different things you can add, a whole bunch of other different pieces of functionality you can add around. And this is, you know, I'm just going back in and making a change. I can add the Call Us app, okay, and I can add a phone number. So if I go in here and I say the phone number is +1 206 939 8556, that's my mobile number, okay, automatically in your app, you've now got a link that if they're using their smartphone, they just tap on the Call Us button and the phone will automatically call the number that you've programmed in here. So let's hit save again. and when I say I'm done editing, it's going to rebuild my app. So I go in here and I say update changes, and if I've automatically published my app now to the Google Play or the Apple Store, then it's automatically going to submit my upgraded version. All right, so there we have it. I've taken you through that entire process from start to finish, and so technically, Cliff, at Cortex, you now have your own app. Obviously, this isn't going to work for you because it's got the Altara logo against it. So what I'm going to do is, if you can just go ahead, I mean, you've got two choices, Cliff. You can go and build your own using exactly the same process that I've done here, or you can just send me, or I'll just grab a logo of yours if you want me to, and I'll finish this build off and I'll send it to you. Okay, but probably the better thing is I don't think I'm running a demo environment for you yet, or maybe you've got your own demo environment you want to embed in for those links. It's up to you. So with that, hopefully you've found today to be a worthwhile usage of your time, and I've showed you how without writing a single line of code, you can now deliver a native application on iOS, a native application on Android, a native application on Amazon's Kindle Fire that allows you to take standard Acumatica functionality and drop it into that native app. All right? Now, some of you might be familiar with programming, and you're going to go, yeah, well, it's not this, and it's not that, and it's not the other. Well, yes, there's a whole bunch of things that it's not. And if you've got developers who are familiar with utilizing those development platforms for those different apps, you can go ahead and you can build your own app, right? And you can customize all the screens, and you can pretty them up and do whatever you want. So yeah, you can go ahead and do that. But right now, this is the demo university. So what this is all about is helping you build really cool, quick, sexy demos. So that's the purpose of this. Now, with a little bit more work and a little bit more time and effort, you can actually build a really nice looking app. Just spend some more time editing your graphics, getting the right graphic sizes, and doing all that kind of thing. So you can build your own application that you can use to market your company, right? That automatically has the demo built in, that automatically has a call to action to get them to call you, that automatically has demo videos built into it off your YouTube channel, or use mine. I don't mind, okay? Because you can add as much of that content as you want, and I would encourage you to go ahead and play with it. Now, just to give you an indication, I discovered this application, actually I discovered this application about 3 months ago, but then I forgot about it. And we had a particular sales scenario yesterday where NetSuite came back and said, yeah, well, we've got an Android app, and they don't. So I was thinking, well, how do we get an Android app post-haste? Well, bang, you can now see how we can achieve that. And there is my Android app for the Android smartphone and the Android tablet. All right? So I'd encourage you, go ahead, have a play with it. I'm now going to unmute everybody. So hopefully you're not sitting there having another conversation while I go blah, blah, blah in the background. And if you... Okay. All right, so there's a whole bunch of people talking all at once. So if I could just ask you, cancel your current conversation and pay attention to what we're talking about. I'm going to unmute you all again. Okay. Well, that's obviously not going to work because no one's paying attention to me. You're all having separate conversations. So if you want to ask a question, please go ahead and ask your questions through the chat pod. All right? So go ahead and ask your questions through the chat pod. Does anybody have any questions? Or was this just so totally awesome that you're picking yourself up off the floor and going, oh my God, Richard, you are truly a demo god? So Cliff, you've got a question? Let me unmute you. Fire away, Cliff.
Hello. Well, I was actually just typing it, but now that you've done that, I was just wondering if you were going to, and we'll see at the conference, whether there are mobile apps already underway developed from Acumatica as well, or we're going to just do these, or can we do both?
Well, you can, you want me to give you a sneak preview?
Oh, yes, if you're willing.
Well, part of me wants to tell you you're going to just have to come along to the summit and find out.
I'm going to be there anyway.
Well, in that case, I'm going to tell you, yes, you're going to see our new native mobile app that we have already built, that Acumatica have already built. But you know what? There's a bazillion of you and not so many of us. And occasionally, you just need to quickly solve a problem. So, you know, this is a great way of doing it. And by the way, our mobile app isn't going to help you build an app well, it could, but you know, to promote your company and build your own mobile app that you can send out with campaigns and stuff like that to, you know, to drive leads and all that kind of stuff. This will. So you can do both. And that's the long answer. Makes sense?
Thank you.
BlackBerry support, Graham? Yes, as long as your BlackBerry supports HTML5, you'll see down here you've got HTML5. So you can just choose HTML5 on iPhone or Android. The only thing this is doing, it's just giving you a slightly different skin for the emulator in this app. But once you've got it, when you produce it, okay, it will give you a link that you can use for your BlackBerry. Mind you, the other thing you could do is get with the program and get off that stinky BlackBerry platform. No, I'm only joking. BlackBerry's got a lot of people who are still very devoted to it, and why shouldn't you be able to? Why shouldn't you be able to use the BlackBerry? Well, with Acumatica, you can. Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, no other questions. So with that, once again, I'd like to thank you for joining us for today's session. And what I'm going to do, I'm just stop sharing my screen for a second, and let's go back to our webcam. And hopefully, again, you can see me on the webcam. So that's it. That's today's session, done and dusted. And again, if you've got any questions about anything I've covered today, just please reach out to me and let me know. Feedback, of course, we love feedback. Tell me, you know, was it good, bad, indifferent? Are there other things that you'd like to see? Are there other demos that you'd like me to show you? Otherwise, you just get what I dish out. But hopefully what I dish out is going to be helpful to you. But you need to let me know if it is or if it isn't helpful, and then I can adjust accordingly. So, one last check for any more questions. I'll just quickly look at the screen here. Okay, good. So some people giving some feedback saying very helpful. So I look forward to seeing what you can do utilizing a tool like this in your Acumatica demos. Remember, next week, what we're going to do is we're going to get into actually customizing the entire Acumatica user interface as well. Now, one thing to bear in mind, don't forget, you can also tailor the entire Acumatica screens as well. So you want to remove fields, create your own custom screen, you can then publish that custom screen as a web link also. So there's so much stuff that you can do. If you know how to do all the modifications and editing in Acumatica, but you just don't know how to build a mobile app, well, now you have the best of both worlds. So with that, have a great day, have a great weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing you all at the summit. If you're not signed up yet, please get signed up. We are almost full. I know that sounds hard to believe, but we are almost full. It's been an outstanding response. We've got lots of ISVs who are going to be there to meet with you, presenting their solutions. We've got lots of what I think is great content and lots of great training. So all of our training classes are almost full. The only one that's not full, because I can take up to 100 people, is the sales and pre-sales training. So if you want to get into something other than sales and pre-sales, book now. Get it selected now, otherwise you're going to miss out. And the only training you're going to be able to come to is mine. And I think it's going to be worthwhile, but it might not be exactly what you wanted to do. But anyway, get registered get your hotel accommodation booked, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week, and I'll also look forward to seeing you at the summit. Thanks very much.